All right, today, if we look here, we are at an official 362 days in Arch Linux. This might be the longest running Linux install I have ever done in my life. And I've tried to break it so many times. Arch team, just cut from a different cloth, man. Wow. It's gotten so darn good. Ooh, love it. Let's see. How are we doing here? I don't even know if I remember how to live stream anymore. We'll see if this still looks all right. That looks good. I'm guessing that looks all right. Happy partner anniversary. It's an anniversary? Okay. Well then, I picked a good day to stream. Totally on purpose. oh man, I tell you. I love it. I love it. Speaking of which, let me see if I can pop this out. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that better. Although, it's really only members only here, so. Nah, I mainly just stream to YouTube, so I got VODs forever. Oh, yeah. I am getting back into streaming at least once a week. Like, that's my... Like, I don't want to say I'm going to stream at this time and this time and this time, which you probably should if you're, like, a professional, which I'm not. I will, though, definitely commit to at least one stream a week. And it just depends on, like, workload, things going on, that type of thing. But today, I saw something that I was like, oh my gosh. I gotta make a video, not a video. I gotta do a stream at least to show everybody because something's happened that has never really ever happened to me on Linux. And I wanted to share it with everybody because I thought it was kind of interesting. It's been 362 days in Arch. And I have, and you know, I never want to knock a Linux distro. Even though sometimes I call them worthless, sometimes I think, okay, well, we really don't need another Linux distro. But Arch has become unbelievably stable for me. And I say that because I am the master at breaking things so much. I will, developer will be like, don't do this. And that's the first thing I want to go do just to see what happens. And Arch has lasted almost a full year. I don't want to jinx it, or I kind of do want to jinx it. But we are at a full 362 days in Arch Linux, which has never happened to me ever. And it's still running really, really good. I do need to make a video about cleaning up Arch because I did have, it was like 2 days ago, I tried to update it, and then it was like, oh, you ran out of room in your root directory. I was like, oh, crap. Because I just installed all kinds of crap. Like, I had like a Olama LLM on here where I was doing like a local thing that ended up taking like 30 or 40 gigs of the root directory. And then I had like some extra packages that I had to go clean up. But the cool thing about Linux, where the difference, one of the big differences I see between Windows and Linux is Windows has a registry and all this other garbage, right? And after a couple years of Windows, just delete it. Like, just nuke, pave, new Windows. That's just the standard operating procedure of every Windows install. I've used Windows for 25 years, 30 years, however long it is now, since 3.1. And it just follows that scheme. Like, I often get asked questions like, hey, how do I upgrade from, this version? Or I upgraded from Windows 10 to Windows 11. And I was like, no, never, ever should you ever update your version of Windows. Shit. Even after a couple feature updates, I'm like, nah, just nuke and pave it, dude. Windows, that's how it works. I say all that because Linux isn't like that. You can find all the bloat in Linux that you've added over the year that I've run this and delete it. And then it's right back to as if it was a fresh install. That's the big difference between Windows and Linux. Windows, you're never going to get it back to that fresh state that it was on the first install, where in Linux, you have that ability. So that's kind of like really cool. Can I share my fast fetch config? Hardy, yeah, it's already on there. It's already on Bash, my Bash actually. So if we go GitHub, I think it was my Bash repo. I'll link it in chat just so you have. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you go in here and you go to the .config, I think it's config.json. Yeah. Yeah, this is the fast fetch profile. So it's the json.c or JSON-C config. Still, I think I might change the config a little bit, but anyways, this will get you most of the way there, and then you can tweak it to your liking. Ah, doing really good, Dan. Doing really good. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the updated ones on linutil. I think linutil might be more up to date than my bash. I do need to get back to doing updates on linutil as well. And we've also been working on linutil documentation and switching everything to Hugo over there, which we do need to update some of the documentation there. Shoot, we got some pull requests too. OM, thanks for the resub. 9 months, man. All right. Adding cleaning power to Docker clean. Let's see. What are we doing? Oh, yeah. So I had a Docker clean alias in my thing. A lot of people don't realize you should be doing a prune for your like containers registry. So if you run Docker for any extended period of time, this is just a shortcut I used to do. They're adding, so I did a volume prune. Now they're adding if Docker images, then, so this is adding extra removal of images. I sure want to remove all running containers. What? Why would you do this? Like, why would you make this a hotkey? Like, this is like a nuke all. I don't think you need to. Am I missing something here, chat? What do you think? That doesn't look like something I want to add. Like, how often are you removing all running containers? That's an awful idea. Like, why would you shortcut this? This is like shortcutting RM, RF root. You know, it's not a shortcut you should do. At least that's how I'm taking it. Unless I'm missing something. Somebody knows more than me in chat. Yeah, you don't need to do a no. What? Add more cleaning power to Docker clean. Delete the world. I guess it's an app description of the PR. But that ain't something I want to run. So my idea for Docker clean was, and includes the nuke option for all active containers. Bro. Like, what? Why would you ever shortcut that? That is stupid. I'm sorry. That's just a bad PR. I mean, not a bad PR in the sense of things like not working or the code being bad. It's just a bad PR because that's something you just shouldn't do. You know, we got the Jurassic Park side of things. Let's see. Let me do a sign in here. Old two-factor in it. That's later. All right, great. I'm glad GitHub stopped showing your IP when you do logins. Yeah, just delete Docker at that point. Like, there's no point in doing that. That's... What the hell? Oh, shit. I totally forgot to undo that push-ups. Oh. Oh. Oh, no. No. That's a lot. Oh, where are you at? Can I disable it before you get it? Shit. Ah, there it is. Don't worry. I'll honor the redeemed ones, but we're gonna... It's in here somewhere. Ah, there it is. Got it before you got too many of them in. Let's see. How many do I have to do here? It can't be that many. Probably not. All right. Yikes. Let's edit this panels, and we're gonna add that redemption. I think there was like a redemption. Ah, here we go. Awards and requests for review. I think that's it. How many do we got to do? 16. Ah, shit. 16 times 5. That's 80. Shit. I mean, all right. That is a few. That is a few. Okay. Yeah. They're there. They're all right here. We got 80 push-ups to do. That's not that bad, though. Yeah, at least it's not 100. It's so close. By the time I disable it, y'all already redeemed 80 of them. All right. Oh, well. We can get that. That's not a problem. Just knock them all out one set of 80. Should be easy. All right. So anyways, that Docker request, yeah, I don't think we need a... We're going to just say, we don't need a nuke option, a nuke shortcut for Docker clean. That's ridiculous. All right, cool. That was funny. Made me laugh. Anyways, new feats on Bash RC. So includes the system manager. Okay, I like that. Firewall function. Firewall manager to open, close, and see the open ports on the firewall. Reset the firewall. And then config SSH function. Probably some aliases, maybe? Let's see what we got here from Gabriel. Full update. Like looking at this. Just looking at the code. Using apt is only applicable in a Debian system. The system in it, that code looks okay. Let's see what else we have. System apps manager. That looks good. This looks like there's some LLM code though. All right, well, at least it didn't. It's like a switch option with some nested ifs. Okay, well. The problem I have with some LLM codes like this is a lot of times it just introduces quite a bit of bloat while also not being 100% correct. Like, it usually gets you kind of most of the way there, so it depends on how much this person tested the code. I'll say it 1,000 times, and probably every stream you'll hear me say it. LLMs write bad code, and they make shit up. It's just what they do. It's not to say you can't prompt engineer your way to somewhat of a working thing at the end. It's just, it's gonna be 1,000 lines long when it could be 50 lines long. And it's not that it necessarily writes terrible code, it's just sometimes it just adds so much bloat to it. I don't see a point in adding all this into a Bash RC. Like, how often are you configuring SSH through an alias? That just doesn't seem like a good idea. Again, I like the Jurassic Park motto, where Malcolm turns and he's like, hey, you were so obsessed whether you could, you never stopped to think if you should. And that is my that is my motto. I love that because you should always stop and go, hey, yeah, I can do this, but should you do it? That is always what you should be asking. Let's see, bash config. We're doing a source and a code. Okay. The code. Some people don't use VS Code for their editor, so this bash config alias, again, very specific to this person's install. It's most of the code he added was Debian based, so Debian, Ubuntu, and the derivatives would be fine. Same with this full update. Again, that's more of a Debian thing, Debian, Ubuntu. The bash restart would be fine. That would be the only piece of code that I actually would probably add if I can remember it, but sometimes it's just easier to just say source bash rc. That's an okay alias. My commands. Yeah, again, this just seems like a lot of bloat for a bash rc with actually adding very little. Too much bloat added to the bash rc. I like the bash restart alias though. Close. Again, I appreciate all PRs, and it's neat. You can still learn something from PR even if you don't accept and merge it. It's just those I didn't think really fit with the project, or some of them were just straight up a little silly. So it is what it is. At least it's not, yeah. Let's knock out some push-ups, I guess. I did push-ups yesterday. I don't know how many I did. Definitely more than 80. So, but push-ups you can do every day. Every day is chest day. Yeah, it's one of those vanity muscles. Every day is curls. Oh man, yeah, we're bringing back for the anniversary. We're bringing back exercise redeems. Who should enable pull-ups next? Although I don't think I have a mobile camera anymore. I used to have a mobile camera that came in like a feed, because I have a whole pull-up bar out in the garage now. Just saying push-ups makes it hard. I mean, it's just push-ups though. Everyone can do push-ups. So this, I used to use Momentum Tab. Now I went to an open source tool because Momentum Tab's a subscription-based thing. They have a free version that I was just using. But this one is, God bless, I don't even remember. What was the extension I was using? What was that called? So I was using Momentum. That's disabled now. I think I switched to, okay, don't need Sky Follower Bridge anymore. Tabless. So this is tabless, but if let's say you disable tabless and go Momentum, this is something I thought was kind of interesting. So this is Momentum Tab. So I like tabless and Momentum depending on your jam. But the thing about Momentum, and if let me increase the size here. We'll zoom in a little bit so you can kind of see. I started to see some bleeding where they're like, hey, too many people are using the free version. And this is the problem with most modern paid options. See this? Now all of a sudden, upgrade to Plus. There's all these pop-ups. And I was like, ooh, I don't like that. So luckily, it does look like maybe that won't pop back up, but probably tomorrow it'll be a pop-up. So that's when I was like, I like Momentum, but I feel like it's kind of starting to go downhill, and I feel like they're going to start prompting and start getting their little greedy hooks in and be like, all right, we need our money. Give us our money. So that's when I was like, all right, I'm going to go tabless, which is, I think, open source and no paid option. Although I don't think it's quite as pretty. It's close. It's a close alternative. So I think that's why I like having options. And also kind of why I love FOSS, because I don't mind donating and stuff, but I just don't like it when it gets a little pushy. Yeah, everything starts to kind of push towards that sub. I hate subscriptions. I absolutely hate subscriptions. Anything that's a monthly subscription in my life, I'm always thinking, how do I get rid of this? How do I minimize my subscriptions? Because and this is such a wacky viewpoint, I get it, and not to get too philosophical here, but I think of money like freedom. Every time I go to spend money on something, that's a little less freedom I'm gonna have, because that means that's more time I'm gonna have to actually work and do something to make that money back. So I hate spending money. I'm such a cheap ass. And I think of whenever I spend money like freedom bucks, you know, hey, that's less time I'm gonna be able to just mess around and have a good time. So that's how I think of money. I think of it as like freedom. It's a little, I'm going to spend some of my freedom and go buy something. I'm going to spend some of my freedom and sign up for this sub that I'm just slowly getting more in debt over the day. So I hate all subscriptions. I hate spending money, and I just like to, I want to be able to just sit on my hands and not do a damn thing if I don't want. And that's what freedom is to me. And that's what money is to me. They go hand in hand. I know that sounds wild, but that's just my thought process. Oh, what's the Synology news, Dan? Oh my God. I gotta know this. Yeah, I do hate insurance more. That's so true. Oh, insurance. Oh, insurance companies. Yeah, no, we're not going there. We're not going there. Oh, I'm taking the bait. Change it to an annual subscription. Oh, man. Oh, man, I love it. Yeah, and that's why, like, anytime I have like a donation option or something, I really do like to have kind of like a one-off option, to where if you only want to donate once, that's totally cool. So I always try and give people options. It's something about if you don't have their hard drives, you won't get updates. What? What is this blasphemy? Synology, news, hard drives. Hey. I actually think I have some Synology drives, but you won't get updates. Official response from Synology of using certified hard drives. What happened here? Can we... Okay, there's that. That's good. All right. Only Synology storage media is currently listed, and the option to select third-party drives is now unavailable. Again, this might change as drivers are verified, but it's pretty clear Synology are committing to this. Oh. I run a YouTube channel, NAS Compares. In this week, initial Synology support. Man, damn it, Synology. I love you as a company. Why you gotta go do some stupid shit like this? I get it, though. I mean, but still. Synology is one of my favorite NAS brands. But I mean, really, there's only two NAS brands out there. There's QNAP, which, dude, it seems like every month they're getting hacked. They've been hacked so many times. And I've had a lot of unfortunate circumstance over the past 5 to 10 years in QNAP's realm, where I've had a few failures at different sites. So QNAP, kind of trash in my opinion. And then you have Synology. I've always liked Synology, though. They've always been my go-to from just a set it and forget it out of box kind of thing. Although TrueNAS is coming along, man. You know, I'd love to see TrueNAS get out there. And like TrueNAS scale is actually pretty decent these days. It's not quite as easy as Synology, though, out of the box. So, all right, so Synology's HCL policy. Each component of the Synology storage is carefully engineered. Okay, whatever, blah, 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 a bunch of bullshit. Okay. I get it. All right, so Synology wants you to pay the extra premium to get the Synology only drives is essentially what's happening here. Oh, that sucks. Sad face. They probably had too many Seagate drives to die on them. And they're like, no more Seagate. We're only going to do the Synology drives. But I want to say the Synology drives are just rebranded Western Digital, aren't they? Ah, yeah. S9T says we also had several failures with QNAP at work as well. Yeah, my Synologies have been solid. So, I mean, as much as I'm going to shit on this policy, obviously, it's anti-consumer from Synology. But I will still say their hard drive has been very good to me. So, everybody I've recommended Synology or I've put in Synology in spots, they've held up and they've done a very good job by comparison. Disk station. Yeah, I mean, for some hobbyist stuff, you could use like a disk station and the other like knockoff brands you see. Like I always have, my email fills up with a bunch of no-name brands saying, hey, I'll send you a NAS box. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like, if I really want to commit to it, I probably would just build my own type thing. Yeah, you also have to use their branded memory. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. So I think I'm on Synology. Oh, shit, let's just pull up my Synology drive. I think, well, 1 second. I don't even remember. Oh, shoot, come on, man. Is that mine? Come on, sign in. Okay, there we go. Let's just show it. All right, so here's my Synology page. Based on this, we'd go to like Storage Manager. And this is, I think, a 1921 plus is what we're rocking. Let's go to our hard drives. So I have a little bit of a mix with this one. We have 8 16 terabyte drives. I think in total, I think we're doing a hybrid RAID. Roughly, I think 80 terabytes is only available because I have a couple in standby or as a spare, hot spare. So we have 4 regular ones, and then we also have the old Seagate. I love shitting on some Seagates, though. And I want to say firmware version. So they're going to stop supporting them. This is a different firmware version. This is SN04. This is SN03. This is SN03. And this is SN03. I wonder why this one's SN04. Anyways, so this one firmware is 1403. 1403. And based on this release, only the Synology firmware updates would be going through. A little torn on this one. As much as I'd love to make a video, you know, I can't believe Synology. I probably won't, just because how often are you really updating the firmware on your hard drives? Just real talk here. How many people are actually going through and updating firmware on hard drives? It's not something I do often. Let's just say that. Yeah, I really don't like mix and match for a lot of drives. I've never done it ever. Yeah, only when I get them. Yeah, only on initial setup. I did, but a very long time ago. So yeah, as much as there's probably going to be some YouTubers that pick this up and go, it's I can't believe this is anti-consumer. Synology not supporting firmware updates for off-brand drives. I think at the end of the day, it's kind of a nothing burger to me, just because after I set up a drive and I put a whole bunch of data on it, I'm not updating the damn firmware on the drives. If it's working, why would you? That's my take on it. Unless there's like a specific thing in that firmware update where it's like, hey, this is going to affect the reliability if you don't do this one, or we found this bug that might degrade the drives faster because of how it's reading and writing data. Something like that in the firmware notes might convince me to do the firmware update, but I'm not like most, I would say, younger IT people take the thing of update often, update everything. Older IT people, after you've done this for several decades, you do updates that matter, and security-based updates, 0 days, those types of things, yes, are done, but you actually read the update notes, and then you go, is this update applicable to me, and does it matter? And if the answer to both those questions are no, you don't do the update. So that's just my opinion, but I think that's where I would leave this one. Yeah, it's just one of those things. A few things I have switched over there is BIOS updates. Yeah, so I used to be very much in that same camp for BIOS updates, now that you say that, Galaga. But AMD's current model and just how all the processors works with, I think, is the Aegis system. I'm probably saying that wrong. You almost have to do the motherboard updates. You almost have to do the BIOS updates. So, yeah, that's kind of my thought. So, yeah, as much as that's kind of interesting, I appreciate the knowing that, but it really doesn't affect me, because even when I do get the BIOS updates, I'm kind of like, eh. Like, what is it currently in my package updates here? We got Active Insight, Docker, Quick Connect, which I never use, Drive I do use on my laptop, and Active Backup I probably would use as well. So, and then from a system perspective, what's that look like from the updates? Oh shit, I'm actually up to date. How about that? All right, cool. Yeah, well, actually, I think there was a 0 day in one of the earlier DISMs version 7. So I think actually recently updated the Synology box because of that, because there was an exploit. Aegis, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird on the BIOS thing. And honestly, even in the Intel space, well, you know, I used to be a big Intel shell. I still like Intel, honestly, better than AMD, but not from a value perspective. I think AMD is still better value. I think Intel still does it pretty good, but I mean, they really screwed up this 13th gen. A lot of people had a lot of issues. Having said that, my personal experiences with 13th gen weren't bad, because as soon as I heard about the, voltage errors and them burning up in people's systems, I was like, oh, what version of Intel system do I have in there? I'm like, oh shit, I'm on I think it's an i7 13th gen. And I was like, oh, okay. And funny enough, the thing that warned me about it first, you're going to crack up on this one, World of Warcraft actually baked in their code, hey, you should update your BIOS if it detected an old BIOS. So I think World of Warcraft was the very first product that I actually used during that whole drama of the 13th gen burning up. And it prompted, was like, hey, I was like, what? Is that a thing? And then I was looking through it and I was like, oh shit. All right, yeah. All right, let me update my BIOS. And then I updated the BIOS, and then that whole warning went away. But of all the things that detected the BIOS update, shout out to Blizzard. Of all the things, that was I thought kind of funny. Yeah, that's it. AGSI. I said Aegis. That's how I remembered it. But yeah, that's it. AGESI. ESA. Say that 3 times fast. Yeah, I think when you make your own NAS and stuff, it can be good. But a lot of people don't realize when they're making your own NAS and you're doing like a true NAS with a ZFS type solution, I think that's good. Like if you do a ZFS type solution, maybe some ECC memory, a tried and true processor setup, and you know all the systems to get, or maybe what are the TrueNAS offerings now? TrueNAS hardware. I bet you they have an out-of-box solution. Do they not have a software store now? I would imagine they would, because that's how they make their money, right? Store. Maybe not. Anywho, I know they switched off of FreeBSD. They're all Linux now, so everything's moving to TrueNAS scale, and that's that. Products. Yeah. Okay, here we go. So let's say you want all flash hybrid enterprise performance. Probably like an M series. Oh, let's go with the F series. That looks like a more entry level. They're not even going to be pricing or anything, so you have to call them. I would imagine entry price probably around 5,000 or something like this, if you want just an off-the-shelf type solution. So bare bones, I would imagine 5 to 10,000 maybe. It's kind of interesting. Last time I was buying that kind of hardware off the shelf, I think I was using Oracle actually. So because Oracle they were actually the originators of the ZFS. I think they still have kind of like a weird licensing thing with ZFS, and that's why a lot of Linux things aren't real compatible with ZFS, mainly from a legal aspect. But the Oracle boxes from a NAS perspective still were, I always liked seeing them. They were still way better. Things that scared the living shit out of me were no-name brands. You know, your knockoff brands that you see in the NAS space. I've seen that in a couple businesses. You never should do that. And HP, I think it was like HP Left Hand Sans, kind of had some pretty awful experiences with HP's NAS or SAN solution, I should say, not even NAS. Their SANs were not great. I had a lot of issues, and maybe that's more of a outlier, but I think it was HP Left Hand. I want to say it might have been like HP Right Hand. I might say Left Hand. Is that it? Yeah. Fuck that one. It's awful. Yeah, don't ever buy this piece of shit. Probably shouldn't say that out loud, but yeah. These were awful. So, yeah, I still have PTSD. My personal experience with the left hands, we were at a colo, and so you get in there, you go through like your man trap, you get into the actual data center, and we had a whole bunch of these HP left hands. And dude, I'm telling you, sometimes the drivers would just sit there and say they were failing, and you'd pop them out and pop them back in, and then they would be fine. And I was like, that's comforting. So, yeah. Anyways, you hated to see HP. You loved to see Oracle in the enterprise storage space, at least from my experiences. Yeah, Sun Solaris was the origin of ZFS before they got bought up. Yeah, that sounds good. I think I wasn't using the Sun Solaris boxes, obviously. God, what was the Oracle? Oracle, I don't know. Why do I not remember the brand name of this? I can't remember it. What was it? It's gonna bug me. It's been many years now since I've been stepping into a colo, but it was what was it? Yeah. I don't remember. Shit, storage. They probably don't offer. I'm sure they still offer it. I mean, they were like the number one. This is kind of what Oracle was known for data centers and storage. They were by far the best. It wasn't even close. They're still trying to push all this cloud shit. But I still imagine their hardware arm would be still pretty prevalent, right? Ain't nobody buying your shitty cloud storage, Oracle. Anyways, I don't remember. Doesn't matter. I remember back in 2005 having a Dell rack server, 16 hot swap SCSI drives. The server crashed after removing the drive. Razzle. Aw. I actually had pretty good experiences with Dell. Dell bought up. So that might have been before their acquisition of one of the best storage enterprise systems I've ever had dealings with. They had dedicated network and storage like engineers, and they were fantastic. I remember having dealings with God, I want to say EMS, but that's not it. It was a 3-letter word. But Dell Storage Company. EMC, that's it. Yes, thank you. Yeah, EMC, I want to say they bought them out sometime. When did they get sold? Dell acquisition. Or maybe this was part of Dell and they developed. Anyways, I had a fantastic time with EMC dealing with those guys. Also, they gave out their utility, which at the time most people were using, I think, Robocopy. So this would have been circa 2010. So shit, 15 years ago now. Doesn't feel that long ago. But they had an amazing, I think it was EM Copy was what it was. And EM Copy was the first, before Robocopy had threaded copies, EM Copy did it first. And dude, it was legit. It was so much faster than Robocopy back in the day. Yeah, it was asynchronous host-based replication. So we were testing, I think I was transferring, I mean, this doesn't sound like much these days, but back then it seemed like a lot. I think it was like 30 terabytes, and Robocopy was going to take like 3 or 4 days, and EM Copy ended up taking us like 4 to 6 hours, because it was very much a, hey, we're copying everything over, no one can be on there, so we're going to have to take down this rather large company at the time. I think their gross physical was like 200 million or something. So every minute was several $1,000s that it was down. So the difference between 6 hours of downtime and 3 days of downtime was a rather large figure. And I remember EM Copy saved my bacon, and I absolutely loved it. It worked great. I don't even know if that's relevant in today's world, though. Yeah, Google's and YouTube's data centers, just the ingestion alone, Sarah, is just mind-boggling. Softest Weed, thanks for the resub. 29 months, man. Oh my gosh. So great. Oh man, tapes. I have a fun story about tape drives. You'll love this. I had a client, this was over 20 years ago now, and it was the old Windows Server 2000s. This was a AC company here in Dallas-Fort Worth, so when I was first starting out. And I remember they called me in like, hey, we want to migrate. I think it was a pretty simple migration. I think it was like 2000 server standard to 2003 SBS. And I was like, oh, great. Have you guys been doing backups? And they're like, we sure have. We back up every day, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I switch these tapes out religiously. And I was like, man, that's what I like to hear. This guy is on the ball. And anybody that's dealt with tape drives before, know there is a lifespan to tapes. And it's not that long, especially if you're using the tapes to do backups on the weekly. So I was like, oh, surely he has a vast library of tapes. He had 5 tapes. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I think this was like 2005. So for 5 years, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, he had been swapping out to the Monday tape, the Tuesday tape, the Wednesday tape. And probably sometime several years before I arrived, those headers and those tapes wear out after substantial writes. And I was like, hey, I hate to break this to you, man, but the last couple of years you've been doing all these, you've been backing up to nothing because these tapes have nothing on them because they're completely worn out. He's like, what? That's a thing? And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a thing because you got nothing. This is all just trash. I would say they're not being verified. He was just backing up. I think a lot of people, this happens a lot probably in businesses. There's the backup and no verify. A lot of people like, I back up and verify. And the verification usually comes from like the job running, and there's this job successful, and it just shoots them an email to make them feel all warm and fuzzy. But the verification should come in the actual, oh, let's pull up that data set and see what's on there. And you'd be surprised how many people don't do that. A good number. A good number out there don't. So, yeah. Check your backups, man. That's always a good one. Backup but verify. And actually verify. Don't verify. Oh, well, it says the job ran true. No. That ain't verification, brother. You got to pull up that data set. So yeah. Fun times. Oh, anybody been playing Oblivion, by the way? I tried to get it working on this system, and I wanted to actually look at, I think it's Catchy OS kernel in Arch. I think that's on the AUR. So I was actually having problems getting it running on my system, but they say it works. Oh, I can't remember. Let's see. I want to try switching out my kernel. Is the Catchy OS kernel? Oh, actually, I think Bazite kernel might be on Arch. Let's go to the AUR. Yeah. So here's what I got. I tried to play it on release because I was like, oh, it's Steam compatible. And it just crashes over and over and over to get on me. But let's launch it real fast and see. And they have anti-cheat for a single player game. No way. Really? I heard it's Unreal 5. Yeah, I will say I have played it in Windows, the Oblivion side of things, and I'm really enjoying the Oblivion remaster. Now, don't get the deluxe edition unless you really want to pay Bethesda the extra $10 for the horse armor. Just get the standard $50 one if you're going to buy the game. Just full disclosure there. Do not buy the deluxe. You get nothing. Oh man, I thought I had it installed. Did I not? Let's check. Oh, look, they already patched it. Damn, that was a day 1 patch. Or maybe it's day 2 package. Alright, so Oblivion. So I just saw the patch come through. Do we have any patch notes? I don't see it. Alright, well, let's hit play. I can't remember where it was at. Yeah, these days, anytime I see deluxe edition or pre-order special, I'm like, no thanks. It's just, did I not hit play? Okay, we hit play this time. Let's see if it launches. I can't remember where I was at on this. It did launch, though. And I think it just got to the shader compiling, and I think it crashed on me. Yeah. Here we go. So, I think it got to like 30% or so, and then it crashed. Yeah. So, yeah, I just keep getting Unreal. I think Unreal 5 and NVIDIA has some issues. A lot of people were not having issues in Linux when they just had AMD cards. Just more NVIDIA issues. So this was the actual crash message. I've sent this in a couple times now, but I've gotten it to like 80% before, messing with different versions of Proton GE as well. I did want to try like a different Linux kernel and see maybe that would help. Yeah, I've tried a bunch of different kernels. I've tried experimental. I've tried Proton GE. What am I on now? But bunch of different Proton GE. We were trying no eSync, no fsync, NV API. I had that at 0. Let's turn that to 1 actually. RAV-V is actually more a AMD thing, so we could actually get rid of the RAD-V thing. It's not using that anyways. So no fsync, no esync, NV API. I'm gonna put to 1, and then we have a Proton log, so we can kind of see what happens on a crash. So if you actually never debugged a bad game in Linux, well, you know, just Linux things, but in your root directory, you'll find a log, a steam-log file, like right here. And this steam-log file can tell you more stuff about what's happening with your thing. So, Neovide, do I have a, yeah, Neovide. Let's open this in Neovide, Steam 262 log, and we're gonna bring this into a new workstation. So what I like to do on the log, like you're gonna see this is probably several thousand lines maybe. So what I like to do is just do like a fix me, and kind of see exactly what you're doing. So then you can sit here and kind of flip through and go, okay, let's just find a bunch of fix me's, probably towards the end of the file, and you'll start to see certain errors on the fix me's, because that's gonna be what usually can crash it. Your warnings and stuff you can probably skip over, and honestly you could always cull this down to I think the main issue here is it being Unreal 5 with DirectX 12, which has always caused some issues. And right here you're going to see VX samples, DXGI sample count 0. A lot of times when you get spammed like this could be an anti-aliasing thing. So one thing we could probably do is like disable anti-aliasing, and that might help with a lot of these errors. And probably here's an actual good use case of AI would be just like taking, let's say you're like, hey, what is all this? Let's say you go here and then you toss it into like Jippity. You can be like, hey, what is this? Just feed it in, and it'll say this log output is coming from VKD3D, which the VKD3D in Wine is DirectX 12, where most people know the other versions of it, like DXVK, which is just DirectX Vulkan, which usually implies DirectX 11 or even DirectX 9. I think it's DX9 is the other one. I think it's DX or D9 VK or something like that for the DirectX 9 versions, but VKD3D is usually referencing to that DirectX 12. So this kind of tells you a little more better things, and really what I find really great about this application of AI is you can feed it a bunch of machine code that kind of sucks to read. And a lot of times it can give you some kind of an idea, but it'll say, hey, the fix me errors, they try to indicate DirectX 12 sample description. Does it tell me about anti-aliasing? Usually I think this is what anti-aliasing is. Maybe? Oh, okay. Yeah. So MSAA, multi-sample, anti-aliasing, and similar options define value like 1x or 2x. So you can actually change that and maybe disable it and maybe get this to run as a good example. So that didn't work. Let's try a different one. I did want to try a new version. Let's go to the AUR. Let's try a different like Arch kernel. That'd be kind of cool. Although if we're using NVIDIA, we might have issues. Oh, what do we want to do here? What do you think, chat? Oh shoot, we still have all those push-ups. I forgot. Let's do the push-ups real fast. I need to think. No better way to think than push-ups, right? Where do we have? Oh, here we go. Boom. 1 second. Let's see here. Probably nothing. So, I don't feel like moving anything, so we're just gonna do it like this. Balancing. $15, $20, all right, that should be good. We'll get 30 redemptions for that. Oh, damn. That warmed me up. Let's go 1 completion, 2, that's 10, 20, 30. Whew, all right. Good enough for now. We still got to get that going. Let's go. Chris's stream's different. I am a different kind of guy. No doubt about that. All right. So, what are we doing? Different kernel. We could try Zen out. I think we're going to do a pull. This is what we got to do. We're going to do a pull. Where's chat? Don't need to double up on our chat. Let's go pull. And how to fix Oblivion in Linux. First one, change Linux kernel. Second option, switch from NVIDIA to AMD. I'm going to actually put my cards here. So we're using a 4070 Super. Oh, I can't put that. Too many. All right, let's start the poll. And we're going to see. Personally, I think you got to switch from NVIDIA to AMD. If you're serious about gaming in Linux, I think that'll probably be the solution. But we can switch the Linux kernel. I just kind of want to see what chat's feeling here. Darth. Oh. Oh, Darth. Oh, switch to Windows. Oh, chat's too real on that. Y'all aren't wrong. Windows is always the one that works when it comes to gaming. It hurts to say it, but y'all aren't wrong. Do you have a 6-pack? Yes. Yes, I have gotten a 6-pack now. I actually had a coach come up to me at the gym the other day and go, "Damn, you have really come quite a ways." I probably should do an update on the fitness channel at some point in time. But ain't nobody want to see a 43-year-old working out. Switch to console. Oh. What is that? Where's the ban button? Yes. Ban. No. I'm kidding. You put the cap on there. Bane. I let it pass. How long you worked out for? 2.5 years. So I was making a ton of YouTube videos, but my health wasn't great. And I feel like this is like the arc of every YouTuber ever, is where you have like a pretty large audience, and then your health starts going, and then all of a sudden I think you go down two different paths. There's like two different arcs of every YouTuber, right? As I see it, there's the two different paths. There's the YouTuber that like gets like 4 or 5 years in, which I've been doing it for 7 years. Holy shit, that's crazy to say. But like after like 4 or 5 years, you start making YouTube videos about your health problems. Like, oh my God, guys, I'm sorry. I just had my left kidney removed because I've been just chugging energy drinks like 5 a day. And, I think the doctors say the outlook looks pretty all right. I think we're going to just keep going. We're going to keep this stream rolling. Please like, subscribe, donate. And then like the next video is like, well, I got the implant, I got that done, but there's been some complications. And then it like goes like that for like a couple years, and then who knows, that person usually just falls off. And then there's the other arc where so there's these two paths. So there's that content path, and then there's the other path where they just get completely shredded and start making videos about how their body transformed into, Brad Pitt from Fight Club, and then they stop making videos. And those are the two paths of a YouTuber, I feel like. I just chose the right path. Don't you dare, you'd have to pay. I love it. Yeah, in the world of doubling down or working out, doubling down on Doritos or workout. Agree. Like if you can, it's the best thing. You only get one life. Treat your body well and stop eating so much crap. I think if I had to boil everything down into one thing, some advice, not that I'm going to give you a whole bunch of unsolicited advice real fast, but one, people overcomplicate eating. I boil it down to this. This is just like my primary thing, and how I really took my fitness to like the next level is just eat every single time I sit down to eat. There has to be at least 10 grams of protein in what I'm eating. If there's no protein in that meal, at least 10 grams, I don't eat it. So as you can see, that kind of limits what you're eating a little bit. No Doritos, no cake, And then probably the second rule for food I have is don't just eat carbs or sugar. Carbs and sugar are bad. Now, when I say carbs and sugar, I'm talking like potato chips. I'm not talking like fruits and vegetables and stuff. To me, that's not a carb. Even though there's carbs in it, it's just not. I am not like that. So those are the simple things. Just no junk, protein every meal. Boom. That's my whole health food, right? People overcomplicate it. Doesn't need to be. Just tons of carbs and sugar only, bad, terrible for you. High protein, good. Every meal should have that. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. If there's no protein in what you're eating, you're doing yourself a disservice. That's it. For food, not complicated. Working out. Just be active every single day. Something that makes you sweat every single day, whatever that is for you. If it's walking, if it's running, if it's whatever. Going to the gym, just figure out what you somewhat like to do or can do, and then do that. Every day, have a good routine. That's the whole encompassing part of my advice that should work for every person out there. And that's it. Perfectly healthy people drop dead every day. True, but there's way more perfectly unhealthy people that drop dead every day than the perfectly healthy ones. So, don't make excuses. Just get it. Eat the healthy shit. That's right. Oh man, I love it. I love it. What was the result of the poll? Did we see? It's so hard to have a good routine when you have a girl, you drink alcohol and all that stuff. I think everybody has their phases, especially like I would even say not really by especially if you're younger. Like in my 20s, I did not have very healthy habits, and I still was able to do a lot with just working out. Um, but as you get older, you can't outwork a bad diet. So as you get older, I find a lot of my peers in the 40s, they will say, "Oh yeah, when I was 20, man, oh when I was playing football or I was doing this, things were I was ripped." I tell you. And frankly, I've been that person. There was a time when I was like, "Oh man, back in my 20s, I was really in shape." Um, but it's much harder when you get to 40 because you do have to get things in line. Sleep's a big thing as well. People aren't getting enough sleep. New parents, good luck trying to get enough sleep because you're a new parent. And if you don't have enough sleep, then you start eating like crap. So there's a lot of things that can play into it. I'm not saying this is easy. I'm just saying the principles are pretty simple once you understand those, and that's okay. So yeah, yeah. My wife's in chat. She was like, "I remember you were ripped, but very unhealthy." Yes. I think my diet consisted of Arizona green tea and Planters honey roasted peanuts and cans of tuna, I think is what I was doing. And it was pretty poor too, so it was fine. And I had that health scare. Yep. Yep. Very true. What is more important to someone who trains at least 2 hours a day? Healthy eating. I would say healthy eating. Yeah, healthy eating's primary, especially as you get older. You have to have good fuel. Like, it's that eating healthy, getting enough sleep, and then doing the workout. A lot of people think you could just work out, and I think in your 20s you pretty much can. There's a guy in my gym, he's like 23, just completely shredded, just a mutant of a person. Amazing. But the big but here is, as he ages, he has to change what he's eating. He has to get better sleep than he's getting. And if he doesn't do those things and he just keeps only working out, his health will decline. And it's really hard to get all three. And it's really important. There's a lot of misinformation, but really that's those three things that I talked about. Very simple. A lot of people overcomplicate them, but you really do have to focus on them. Yeah, yeah, and drugs are bad, alcohol's bad. I mean, we all know this. It's not like earth shattering. I don't think anybody believes drinking like a glass of wine a day is healthy. Maybe alcoholics, but I mean, most people know now. There's enough information out there that people know a lot of this stuff. I'm saying it's like, oh yeah, duh. You just have to think about it and go, okay, let's make some better choices. And really, it's a lot of people think, well, I have to always eat chicken and broccoli or something. No, 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 no. Think of it like good, better, best. So chicken and broccoli, sure, that's like your best meal, right? But what's a step below that? Well, maybe it's just protein shake. That's all you can get in, and you need your protein. Just take the protein shake. And what's below that? Hell, I guess maybe one of those bars or something. There's a lot of sugar in there, but you still get some protein, and it's a good little stopgap. So aim for the best, but if you have to sacrifice, have like backups. So I always think of like a whole bunch of like different meals and different snacks I can have. And then I just pick those throughout the day, depending on what I have going on. So let's say I'm going in there, I'm like, I need a quick snack. Maybe I grab just a little bit of like a dab of peanut butter, toss that on a plate, and grab like a couple sticks of celery and just eat that real fast. That could be a little snack, or cottage cheese or yogurt. Those things have pretty decent amounts of protein, and you can get a lot of the good macros and stuff. I don't overcomplicate it. I just try and have options and then go, okay, I can get this, and then just get that. And that's the thing, yeah. Willpower is key for sure. Yeah, and I think what I was doing, where I was making probably my biggest mistakes, because I think I learned best from the mistakes I've made in the past. And what I was doing is I was starving myself, and then I would go into like a rabid trash panda mode where I'd be like, I'm just gonna eat the world, because I just wouldn't allow myself to have, or I wouldn't have that best option there. So then I'd finally just snap and just eat everything. And that was really bad. So having that good, better, best approach and having all these different options. So when that best isn't available, you have something to step down into, and it's a lot better. So that's my thought. Multivitamins, fish oils, etc. Justin, I really don't like any supplements. The only supplements I take are protein powder, creatine. I think creatine's pretty proven at this point that it's good if you're working out every day. Don't take creatine if you're not working out, though. That's not a good thing. So I think protein powder and creatines are the big things. I think a lot of people my age in their 40s, they try like steroids or testosterone. A lot of TRT is probably a big thing in the older age bracket. Hopefully not in the younger age bracket. You're really going to screw up your body, and you're going to die a lot sooner if you do it early. And I wanted to stay away from that. So I actually got a hormone test after I got pretty healthy and I got my nutrition dialed in. I got everything. I actually had all that tested, and my test scores were like 700 milligrams. And that's well above normal. So I was like, okay, great. So I didn't have to do any supplements on top of what I already had. So fix your nutrition, fix your sleep, fix your stress levels if you can. All those things play a factor into your scores. And I see too many people go, I don't want to fix my nutrition. I don't want to fix my exercising. I don't want to fix any of this. I just want a shot and then get going. I'm totally adamant against it. I say, fix the other stuff in your life first, and then go get the test. And then if you are low, you think about that. But I think too many people just jump to the pharmaceuticals or think, oh, well, I can take a shot and then get ripped. No, that's not how that works. And you're just going to damage your body and cause all kinds of long-term solutions. And just specifically on steroids, because I know that does get brought up a lot into current climate. I'm sorry, I'll switch topics here in a little bit. But just one last thing I'll say about that is be very careful with that, because if you take that, especially as you get older, it'll make everything in your body grow faster. That's what it does, including muscles, but also, like, let's say you have any tumors. Like, I have a lot of cancer in my family. Let's say I have some underlying tumor somewhere and I took it. There's a good chance that could grow at a rapid rate, and I could literally kill myself decades ahead of when I would normally die. So definitely some risks involved that not very many people talk about. Anyways, sorry to get too into the health side of things. I get real passionate about that. I love it. But yeah, watch it. I don't zero drink sugars, all that kind of. I still think it spikes insulin levels, and I think water. Water. I hate telling people, really. People overcomplicate it and think, oh, I can take this thing. One last thing I'll leave you with is just something I want you to remember. And it's a marketing thing. If it has to tell you it's healthy, it's not. If it says gluten-free, sugar-free, this is healthy. No, it's not. It's just not. What's healthy is single ingredient foods. Super inconvenient. Man, I would love for this not to be true. I'd love to tell you this one thing I eat and it's great. But at the end of the day, if you're getting a whole bunch of shit from a lab and it has to tell you it's healthy, it's just not. So don't fall for the marketing. And that's just learn it as water. Go eat something that's a single ingredient and go work out. It's really that simple. It just kind of sucks to follow, and it's hard. Get proper sleep. I mean, yeah, it's just all the things you've heard. Those are all right. But a lot of people want the quick, easy thing. And I'm not different. When I say a lot of people, I mean myself. I want something quick, but it just doesn't work. Anyways, moving on. Sorry, guys, for the super rant there. Yeah, man, I love it for things to be a little different. Oh, man. All right. I think the whole poll we took was how to fix Oblivion in Linux. We're right now at the spot where we hit play and it launches Oblivion. It gets to about 30% and it crashes. I think we're going to have to do some hardware shuffles to really fix this problem on Linux. So this gets to about 30, 40. Oh, no, we're fast. 45, 50? 51. It got further that time. Let's try to launch it again. Maybe we just keep launching it until finally it preloads. I feel like this is a fool's errand. Oh, man. The quintessential Steam Deck verified. Man, you are right there, brother. Woo. Steam Deck verified. Here we go. 53. It went from 51 to 53 before the crash. Do we get above 53 this time? Let's see. Here we go. One more time. And then we're going to just say, screw it. We're going to switch from NVIDIA to AMD. I have a 7800 XT we can swap out to. Does it work on your Steam Deck? No. Okay, crashed at 53. So we're doing that. Don't play this on a Steam Deck, man. You could stream it to your Steam Deck. You guys saw what the recommended requirements on this game were, right? Let's see. Does it show recommended? Yeah, here we go. Look at this. It wants a recommended RTX 2080 or a 6800 XT. Woo! Doggies. Absolute bare minimum's an RX 5700 or an 1070 Ti. That's absolute minimum requirements. Yeah, don't try to play this on a Steam Deck. Steam Deck verified? Bruh. Come on now. Don't do it. Even if it does run, it would be like 15 FPS in a closed room dungeon. And then if you're in the open world, it's probably going to be like 3 FPS. Verified. Steam Deck verified. I mean, unless there's some extra voodoo that they'll do on the back end, but I would not do that. So I think what we'll do is swap out the card and try that. Yeah, so I would Moonlight from the Windows desktop is what I've been doing on my Steam Deck. I think that's a good one as well. Also, you have to have somewhat of a fast system. I did install it on my iSCSI drive from the Synology NAS box back here. So I did stream it from the main system. That did work. So the whole SSD requirement, I don't know. I mean, I do have 10G here, so that is fine, but I know the cache does have, that NAS box does have some caching, but it's only like a terabyte of cache, and I think it works, and I don't have any problems. Maybe occasionally some of the load time's probably a little bit longer because of that, but I'm not 100% on the SSD. I think you can get away with not doing SSD if you don't. At least for my NAS setup, it is working. Also, 8 GB memory on graphics card minimum. Okay, yeah. I couldn't see this working very well at all on the Steam Deck. Natively, at least. Let's see. Before we switch out the card, let's check. Here, I'm going to bring chat back up on the overlay. Let's switch to ProtonDB. Do we have Oblivion on here yet? Probably not, I imagine. I think it's going to take probably a little bit. Sort by popular. You see, it should be right here on our look. Oblivion. So the Game of Edition, that's a 2009 version though. Yeah, they don't have the remaster on Proton DB yet. So I think that'll get up there though. What's your browser? Oh, we don't speak of that. Don't use my browser. Google Chrome is the devil. But yeah, it's just Chrome right now. I wish we had something like GOG or Epic Store Games. Lutris has pretty decent integration. You also have Heroic Game Launcher on Linux that works pretty well with Epic Store and GOG. So I like both those. In combination of Lutris and Heroic, you usually do pretty good. I did try the Bleeding Edge Proton. What that looks like. I like to use just Proton up. You can see we're already on 927 is the current Proton GE. So what we can do is just to show this. Let's come into here. You can come into, just so you can see, kind of try to fix that as much as we can. Let's go to compatibility. You can see we are on GE Proton 27. We've tried experimental. I've even installed some more off-the-brand ones like Catchy OS Proton 9.0. And some of the older ones. You don't really want to go too full old on the Proton because this is DirectX 12. DirectX 12 requires that DirectX 12, the Vulkan compatibility layer. And older versions of Proton are just not even going to have that capability of using the VXK 3D. It's not even going to have that like module or ability to do those things. So we can try the Catchy OS one real fast just to give that a whirl. And then I think we switch the card out. I don't think we have any other options here. But if you are serious about gaming on Linux, I think you really should use AMD as your primary. I think that would be the best. You're going to have a much better gaming experience, but also install experience as well. So all those things do matter. All right, 53, 57. I got up to 57 on that one. Still get the crash. I think it's more of an AMD type thing than of anything else. I think it'll be patched probably sometime in the future, but I think out of the box, I think AMD is going to be your best bet here. We didn't try the kernel. I guess let's try the kernel real fast. I hate to switch the hardware. The hardware I think will work because AMD typically always has the best like day one compatibility compared to NVIDIA. There's not too many like people using NVIDIA on Linux that are like super serious about Linux. If you're only like mainlining Linux, you're going to be using AMD. Even though NVIDIA is technically better for a lot of things, specifically video editing, any kind of actual work. Gaming, AMD's catching up though. Let's do a search. I don't think Catchy would be in there. Yeah, I didn't think so. Now I know there's the Zen module that we could use. I wonder if Bazite has anything. Now that's interesting. Linux kernel and modulars for Bazite, pre-built by Bazite. Linux Bazite bin. Now that's interesting. We could use the Bazite kernel module because Bazite does have a lot of things. Like I've had things not work on my Arch system. I think it was, oh God, I did a whole stream on it. On launch, what was that game? Look, where was it? There was a game that I was having problems on Arch, and then I launched Bazite and it works. Helldivers 2. This game, I remember I had problems getting it to launch on Arch Linux, and then I booted into Bazite. It worked right out of the box in Bazite. So I still say Bazite's the best out-of-box Linux gaming distro, period. Across the board, without exception. So let's shoot. Let's try it. Oh, correct the spelling, catchy. Not catchy. Thanks for the catch there, Ahmed. Well, let's try Bazites first. I'm going to try Bazite with all, because they have a whole bunch of extra kernel modules they build in. And I feel like this would be good. Famous last words. Cashy, not catchy. I'll have to remember that, though. Cashy OS. I think I've been saying catchy OS the whole time. My bad. I had no problems on Helldivers on Arch, 6700 XT at the time. But I did use GameScope because of other issues. Okay. Why do games just work on Windows? Very simple. Games are built with Windows in mind because it has a 70% market share. So that's why. That's why everything just works on Windows from a gaming perspective, because if they're making something for the PC, they're going to do it for Windows. You know, why does Mac gaming suck so bad? Well, it's way worse than Linux. Unless, of course, you like their arcade or something. Or World of Warcraft works on Mac. That's about it, though. But yeah, that's the short answer. I mean, it's kind of amazing Linux gaming is even a thing, and it's nearly as good as it is. It's really kind of amazing. You can do a lot with Linux gaming. All right, let's go. You think it's going to build NVIDIA? Yeah. Well, a couple errors there. This is why you pay attention when you do these installs. Notice, NVIDIA module not found. Yeah, we're going to have to fix that before the reboot. Simple fix to this is yes. We're going to do NVIDIA DKMS. This is the module one. Right now, we're using a different one, which is NVIDIA Blaine. So we have to remove NVIDIA, yes. And then yes. And then we're going to have to rebuild that DKMS to make sure we have the proper NVIDIA modules. Things that Linux people don't tell you, but you should know. So technically DKMS should automatically, we should see that init RC rebuild itself, or the init, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. It will auto rebuild here. So we should see these NVIDIA modules get built for Bazite, which you see FC42 here. Kind of feels weird installing that Fedora kernel on Arch, but again, at the end of the day, Linux is Linux. So we should be able to switch over into this. Yeah, informal DKMS. So if you do see the modules missing when you're doing like another kernel involved, especially with NVIDIA, this is just for NVIDIA people. AMD people, guess what? You just install the module. You're done. You just install the kernel, I mean. There is no modules. You don't even need DKMS with AMD. Shit just works. The beauty of AMD on Linux. Unless it's a brand new AMD card, and then mileage will vary. But there's always little asterisks. Uh-oh. Init CPIO image generation failed. ZST reported an error. What? Oh, shit. We're out of space. Hell, that means the boot drive is probably full. Yeah, that's it. Sad face. All right, what do we got here? Damn it. Why do I have that Ucode image? That's only 9 megs. sudo. So if you have space problems, again, reading is absolutely necessary. If you are illiterate, you can't use Linux. Just going to throw that out there. Reading is necessary. Let's go boots. All right, what do we have? Let's just delete that. Break.sh. I don't know what I was doing there, but sure. Oh, we do need the U code. Fallback image. Let's just delete that. Delete that. Yeah. We're just gonna delete it all. It'll be fine. Let's just reinstall that real fast. Should be fine. If you're illiterate, you have a bigger problem in life than OS of choice. That's some facts. That's some facts, Ahmed, for sure. Oh. I should resize the partition. Agreed. We can look at that. Because this is going to crop back up on the next update. I should have given the boot partition like a whole... at least a lot more than 600 megs. That was a problem. What is the wackiest Linux build you could make for your hardware setup and needs? You know, probably the wackiest build I think I've done is I've installed Linux on I think it was a Seagate actually. It was a Seagate residential hard drive / NAS. So they had like this proprietary like piece of crap. I've also done this on Terra stations. You remember Terra stations? Are they still around? They suck. Hashtag not sponsored. But I've also wiped out their firmware and just put Arch Linux on it. The Arch version of ARM is actually quite good. Error, specified kernel does not exist. Shoot. Well, I should have only killed the init RAM, not the other one. Damn. All right, well. Huh. I know this seems like a little redundant, but we're going to just have to reinstall this real fast. I accidentally wiped out the kernel instead of the init RAM module. Anyways. It'll be fine. As long as it doesn't do a fallback. Please don't do a fallback. I don't think it will because the kernel's not there. Otherwise, we're going to go round and round here. But yes, the Arch version of ARM... the ARM version of Arch... is what it's kind of cool. You can do a lot of really cool stuff. But yeah, there's been some pretty jank setups I've done in the past. And it's really kind of cool. Like all the things you can use. I mean, you can literally install Arch Linux on your toaster. It's pretty cool. The one thing I really want to get into is hacking smart TVs. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity there with your smart TVs. A lot of the OS and bloat that comes with smart TVs is just crazy. So, I'd love to get into that. Make for a good video, too. Come on, no space at fudge. Uncompressed CPIO image generation failed. BSD tar reported an error. No space left on device. Man. It's okay. I know. I just got to get it to boot, guys. Just, So this time I only got rid of the init RAM portion, so hopefully this will just build a couple init RAM modules enough to where it's okay. I can't remove the existing Linux one, the non-Bazite version, because that's what I'm booted into right now. So I'd have to boot into the Bazite version, but I can't boot into the Bazite version before I get the actual DKMS modules installed. And I can't install those modules because I'm out of room, so that's what we're trying to do right now. We're kind of playing whack-a-mole with it not building the failback. If this fails again, instead of just doing the package install and having it auto do it, we can specifically put in the command and build the init RAM directly without reinstalling the stuff. So we'll see how it goes here. And I can't resize because I can't boot back in. Well, I guess I could boot to a live media and then do a chroot, like an Arch chroot, and then rebuild the kernel modules and everything in a live environment. I prefer not to do that. That's a lot more work than just doing this. So that's the failsafe. So we actually have 3 different fallbacks that we can take here. We can just try to reinstall and not get an error. If we can't get that, we'll try to build the init CPIO direct without it erroring out or running out of space. If we can't do that, we got to go to the live environment. And if the live environment, we'll have to resize. Come on, no way me. Shit. All right. Yeah, it didn't work. Yeah, those NVIDIA modules just take a ton of space. Well, all right, we're going the hard way. This is not going to boot, so don't be shocked here. I think it was escape for the boot menu. I can't remember. Would it not have been easier and quicker just to swap the card over? Probably. But we're committed. We're committed to fixing the NVIDIA issue. Unless, of course, this doesn't work. But I at least want to get the Bazite kernel in because I kind of want to use the Bazite kernel anyways. It probably still won't work. But content. I kind of wanted to just see the Bazite kernel anyways. I think it'd be fun. Hope you guys wanted to get blinded. If you're not awake, you are now. Thanks, HP BIOS. What was that? UEFI module. That was it. All right. Had to guess a little bit there. What do we have on here? Let's go to G-Parted. Love me some G-Parted. Yeah, this is Arch. We don't take the easy path. Come on now. I mean, no, it would work. Just booting into the Windows partition and installing it there. I mean, chat was not wrong when they said just swap the GPU. Y'all were right, but me being me, I of course was like, well, let's try the hard thing first. There's no fun if it just works. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, 33 is fine. Yeah, let's just start X. Let's go. Oh shit. X might not work because it might not have the NVIDIA modules. I didn't think about that. I think this version of G-Parted is too old for the 4070. Well, all right. We should have done an edit in maybe a no mode set to. No, it's still too old for that version of Gparted. 4.19 is not going to have the Novu drivers aren't going to be able to be compatible with the 4070 Super NVIDIA. In case I hadn't said it already, just use AMD if you're using Linux. Less headaches. A lot less headaches. But we don't use Linux for our sanity. We use it for the fun. The fun, like, ooh, how do we fix this problem? Gotta tinker. Be fun. Be fun, they said. We love it for the challenge. Just a normal Chris stream. All right, so Gparted version 1.00 is not compatible. We can probably get a new one. Parted magic. When did the 4070s come out? Shoot. Shit. I think it was after 2021. It was, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, let's try it. Maybe I'll get lucky. You just like DIY stuff. I do. I like being unique. For better or worse. There's a lot of easier solutions here that we could have taken. And sometimes I just like going down the hard path. Would you consider making non-subs can watch the VODs? When you stream your second channel, is the VODs were member locked? Yeah, I can open that up. Parpley. At least so, like, I think Twitch hands them, or I think they hold on to them for like 90 days. So I don't mind opening up the Twitch stuff. Just installed Zorin OS. Done with Windows. To be young again. I remember at one point in time I was like, I'm done with Windows. But Windows wasn't done with me. Story of my life. Don't want to show this stuff to a potential new Linux user. They will immediately refuse the system. The thing I love about the streams is I love to kind of show all the different rabbit holes you can fall down. This isn't gonna work, by the way. Let me look it up on my phone. I want to say the 4070 Super came out after 2021. 70 Super launch date. Launch day. What was the launch day? Shit. Yeah. January 17th, 2024. So we can't use something that was created in 2021 for hardware that was released in 2024. Well, that, but I don't want to give up. What's the solution here? Resize from command line? Did I hear somebody in chat say that? No, you didn't, because you didn't want to see me break my system. But we can do that. I want to say there's a reset button somewhere. Well, hey, see, wait a second. We'll just boot into Windows, resize the Linux partition from Windows. Done and done. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Chat, full of good ideas. Chris, you think you're so invested in Winutil, would you still be using Windows? Charlie, good question, Charlie. I think certain things I will use Windows for. Me personally, I think DaVinci Resolve is better in Windows. There's no feature parity, such as there's no AAC decoding in Linux. Also, gaming, there's certain games that work better in Windows compared to the Linux counterpart. You can honestly say the same thing about Windows. There's a couple older Windows games that work better in Linux, believe it or not. I'm thinking like Fallout 3, a lot of the games for Windows from the late 2000s, early 2010s actually work better in Linux. But for most games, I would say Windows definitely still has the leg up on Linux. So yeah, I would still be using Windows. It depends on what I need done. From a productivity standpoint, Linux is I'm way more efficient in Linux than Windows. Windows has way more distractions for me. So I have a tendency to want to really game a bunch when I'm on Windows, where when I'm on Linux, it's less of a call to me. So I'm more productive from a work standpoint. So I do like Linux a lot. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Windows still is better at some things than Linux. Yeah, I think a lot of the major YouTubers think Steam OS is going to be an openly compatible thing for general hardware. Spoiler, it's not. It's never going to be a thing. I understand people at Valve thinks that might be a thing, and they might be trying to develop something. But I'm going to tell you right now, Steam OS will always be for Steam OS compatible hardware, and your system ain't it. You can take that to the bank. Isn't that Steven Seagal's quote from the 90s? Hard to kill. Yeah. You can take that to the bank. Steam OS never coming to your system. It's true, though. It's true. The hard reality of the world we live in, the harsh climate of our current predicament with operating systems is SteamOS will never be readily available for general hardware. And if it is, it's going to be a just complete shit show like it was in 2014. Because Linux has a lot of Linux things at the end of it. I used to always say distribution doesn't matter. I really don't say that much anymore, even though it doesn't, if you know enough. Distribution is just merely a starting point. So it's not like SteamOS is just going to remove all the Linux headaches that has plagued us for decades. Okay, they're not fucking wizards. They can't just pull out of their ass a whole new kernel, a whole new way of things working. It's still fucking Linux, guys. It's not like Valve is like got magical people working up there that are just able to make shit that just doesn't fucking exist. It's not a thing. SteamOS is never gonna be a thing for everybody. I'm tired of people saying it will be a thing, but it's not gonna be a thing. It just won't. It won't. Sorry, got a little carried away there, but I'm not wrong. Sorry, I apologize. Got a little carried away. Try that game on Steam and Windows and see if it's a Linux problem or a bug in the game. It's a Linux problem. Let's see. What do we like for a partition manager these days? I think I used to use Minitool all the time, but I think they turned to crap. Yeah, I used to use Minitool. AOMEI, Dan. All right, I'm going with Dan. Dan's made a lot of really good high high IQ comments in the past, so I'm gonna go there. Mini Tool I used to use all the time, but their last version I installed, I was really disappointed. I think they locked some stuff behind paywalls, and it was really not great. Where I think like 3 or 4 years ago, Mini Tool was fine. Yeah, so Z80, we were trying to use G-parted, but I'm using a 4070 Super, and the version of G-parted I have isn't compatible with that new hardware. So, sadly, oh, flash sale, guys. There's only 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 53 seconds on the flash sale. What? 80% off? Wow. No. That's pretty funny. There's people that fall for that. All right, let's go petition assistant. If you clear your cookies and then hit refresh, the timer starts over again. It's kind of funny. Anyways, we need that NVMe drive. There we go. Dang, this is gonna suck. What's dynamic disk management? Oh, that's Pro. Oh, I gotta make space for this partition. Maybe I can just resize it. Nope. Shoot. I don't want to move this partition, but if I move my root partition any smaller, that's just going to be a nightmare. Shit. Shit. I don't like any of these solutions. We could just move the EFI partition to a different disk. That's blasphemy. It's jank. It's super ghetto. So we don't want to do that. Well, I think what we'll do... Damn it. We just gotta do that. Oh, it's ext4. It's not gonna allow me to resize it. Oh, gosh. Bummer. Yeah, so that's not gonna work. All right, let's try and grab new G-parted. New G-part. G-parted 1.7. Nice. How old is 1.7? Let's double check that real fast. Where's my U-block? U-block, you falling down, man. I gotta love Chrome. Did they block U-block? Maybe. There we go. Okay. Alright, so we got the new G-parted on the way. When was the release date? This would have been... release notes. January 2025. Okay, so this one should be fine. And it's based on the Linux kernel 6.12, which I believe the Novu driver should work for. Gravy. Yeah, only uBlock Lite works now. Sad to say. Alright, so an old version of Part of Magic. Let's delete a few of these. Let's grab our downloads. And toss this bad boy in there. Gravy. Alright. And we'll give it a restart. Just boot with no mode set. I don't think that works, Brad, because this, you still need some kind of functionality. It still has to be able to read the driver. Restarting this. Gnome disk can't move partitions as far as I know. Should be able to resize the partitions though. This might take a bit though. That's the downside. I think this might end up running a little bit long in the tooth, if you know what I'm saying. I missed it. Well, nah. Reboot one more time. You shouldn't have to load it each time. uBlock Origin should work right out of the gate. For the most part, it works. It's not quite as good as it used to be, though. A little bit. It's a little bit more kneecapped by Chrome. Yeah, I could do it that way, Z80, but I think this will work just fine. Let's try this new G-parted. I bet you it'll work just fine. Oh, lordy. OpenAI, I would like to buy Google Chrome. That sounds awful. Now we're getting some errors for Novu. Hopefully Novu can read this. If not, we'll see. Let's try Start X. Maybe? Hot dog. Hot diggity dog. There we go. We're in business. Let's go. All right. Resize. So we'll resize, move that. Moving the partition might cause your operating system fail to boot. Alright. And then we're going to resize this one. And then we're going to get... $1,400. Yeah. Ah. $1,400. We're gonna give it 200 there. Give it a little bit more. Bring this to 0. Oh no. Oh man. And 1,400. So then we'll have 2 gigs. Should be plenty. Yep, I know. And we're just gonna resize this. New size. There we go, perfect. Let's go. It's dangerous. May not boot. Sounds like any other day for me. Let's go. Windows disk management. I don't know. I don't think disk management can. I know disk part can. I don't know about resizing per se, though. I've just deleted boot partitions and just recreated them. Sometimes that's the easiest method. This right here is going to be shrinking and then moving the data. This might take entirely too long for the stream. So we'll have to take a peek. Yeah, just sounds like another one. Another day, another time. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break. I will be right back, and let me know if something happens while I'm gone. Give me like 3 minutes. I shall return. Had to get some chicken. All right. How we doing? Oh, yeah. It's going. What do we got? What's this look like? 2 hours remaining. Shit. I figured that would be it. Yeah, resizing that couple terabytes. It's just always going to take a little bit longer. Just moving all that data. Yeah, the main issue a lot of people have. One thing I like about like ext4, it's pretty easy to like shrink and move. If you're on like a better FS though, it's a complete nightmare because there's all these like sub volumes, and dealing with that when it comes to growing and shrinking partitions is an absolute nightmare. So much so that I'm just like, I'll just get another disk. I don't feel like doing it. I've done it, but it's like you go through each sub volume, redo it, and then move. It's just a whole nightmare you don't really want to deal with, where ext4 is quite a bit more simplistic, I think. Let's see. Yeah? What's up? Yeah, yeah. No, so that was already worked out through the actual sale price. That was already worked out, Sabrina, remember? We went through an exchange. That's legit. Because it was originally 11, and then we there's some concessions for 5,000 there to make it 16,000.
Yeah, but then she's also taking her
that for her commission. Let's see. That's going to the actual seller agent. So yeah, that's going to her, and then Kay's getting the 2.2. That's going to be there. 6% always goes to the agents typically. Kate's actually taking less than a 3% here, but yes, she's not going to omit her sale like that.
Yeah, she said she would.
No. 16,000 is the concession. Is what?
Yeah, that's the concession. That's all correct. Yeah. It's all right. My legal advice. Oh man. Well, I think we still got some push-ups to redeem too. How many more did I have? Oh. Okay. Yeah, we still got quite a bit. From what I see, 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, 50 more push-ups to do. Well, while we're doing this, I guess we're going to knock out some push-ups. Oh, that's great. Let's go chat. All right. Chicken and push-ups. Let's get it. All right. All right, 25. Woo! Just 25 more to go. All right. This next round, Crunk, just for you, we're going super elevated feet. Oh, I don't think you could actually see me, but I did 25. My bad. I'll switch the thing for the next one. All right. Well, I guess I gotta stream tomorrow, I think is what this means. Or could plug something else in. What else do I got around here? I think I need to build a laptop. Redo one of my laptops. Might stream that too. Yeah, we'll do a Friday stream. Yeah, pretty much. Did I redo The Office? A little bit. Have you guys seen it lately? Here, this is why I've been watching paint dry, moving all these partitions around. If it wasn't 2 terabytes of partitions, it would go relatively fast, but it is what it is. All right, let's go full screen. I don't even think I've even shown in a little bit. Let's go. Nope. Oh, I kind of like that. Should do some streams like this. Yeah. So this is the old bit, but so this is the shelf. The rack. Let me take this out. Yeah. So I redid everything. Sorry, we're gonna get a little shake. So there's the door, the rack, all that. Keep digging. Then we have this spot coming back to me, and then I actually switched everything. Like right there is like the little mini rack, which is pretty good. And then I just kind of shifted everything over to this side. Works pretty well. Yeah, no complaints. And then, yeah, kind of did this as a little mess around podcast thing. But yeah. Oh man, the Mac Mini. Oh wait. You joke, but I think I still have it. Where is it? Oh! Here's the Mac Mini. Where is the cable? Just gotta find the cable for it. What did I do with the cable? Well, let's see. So Mac Mini uses just a. It's kind of weird. Mac Mini uses like just a standard old two wire, not like the Mickey Mouse ears, which I actually have more of the Mickey Mouse ones for the power cables than the regular. So I'll use the Mickey Mouse, probably from all the Unify crap. Yeah. I got it. There we go. Let's load this guy up. Mac Day. Y'all asked for it. I don't know the last time I booted this thing up. Yeah, actually, Mac Util would not be that hard. There's actually quite a bit of optimizations you can make in the Mac terminal and the CLI, because Mac has a bunch of like just stupid options, fucking hippies. With like window management is just awful, and they have like all these animations that are just excessive. They cost performance, and there's just no point to them, and there's a lot of like just completely insane defaults for Mac. Specifically like Finder. Setting up Finder that's just in such an unoptimized state by defaults. So yeah, actually Mac Utility would be more of like a one-shot run. And just be like, here's all the stupid things Mac does. Just run this utility and it's going to help you. And I think that would actually be pretty simple. It'd probably be the easiest utility to make. Out of all three operating systems, Mac, Windows, and Linux, the Mac utility, believe it or not, would probably be the most simplistic. Let's see. Does it boot still? That was a... chime got kind of short there. Ah! There we go. Now I just gotta get a... Yeah, this is this shirt. I used to like Coffee Villa until he investigated me. It was from when Logan Paul sued him. The sight of Apple makes me vomit, as it should be. Well, damn, is this thing gonna turn on? Oh. Small problem. The monitor doesn't support the current output in the Mac. How do we fix that? Microsoft taxes you for keeping the EXP undetectable by the antivirus. Imagine what Apple can do to you. True. Facts. Although, I mean, with the terminal, there's a lot of you can circumvent quite a bit, believe it or not, on a Mac. Yeah, the HDMI, that's not working. What could I do to get around that? Safe mode boot. Remind me how to safe mode boot on Mac. What's that? What's that entail? Alright, y'all are not helpful. You just told me 3 different things. Hold down shift Well, Dan and Darth said hold down shift. Mag said hold down command. I'm gonna go with shift, I guess. Yeah. 2 to 1 to shift. All right, let's try shift. Do. All right, now I'm gonna hold down shift, press power. Got the little nice Apple chime. We're holding shift, holding shift. All right, we got that. Still holding shift. I think we're gonna get any love there. Well. Yeah, this is the Mac Mini M1. Now hold 2 shifts. M is hold power. Really? You hold the power button? So let's power it off. 1 second. All right, it's off. So this time we're gonna hold down the power button. So we're powering on. We're continually holding the power button right now. I'm going to just keep holding. Keep holding. All right. We're in options. Shit. Okay. Just does not like the supporting input. What if I got an idea. We're going to try something a little different. All right, I'm going to take that back to there. Do need to take this guy 1 second. All right, and we're going to take a new input. Where's the video capture? Create a new one. We're gonna call this one video. We're gonna go input 4. Oh, oops. Input 4. Okie dokie. We're gonna try. No, that's put 4. Let's try and put 1. All right, so just a full-on unsupported signal directly fed in. Unfortunate. Yeah, it's just not liking that. Yeah, the Mac OS is probably trying to do like a high refresh rate or even maybe a different resolution. So it's just not wanting to boot into that. That would have been nice to tinker with, but I don't really care. Alrighty, let's see. Dude, that's a novel. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, let's see what we got here. Oh, wait. All right. Well, either way, Mac sucks. We all knew it. I'll figure out the resolution there. I hadn't booted that thing in forever. Yeah, the thing I think I hate most about Mac is how it deals with resolution and like external monitors. Mac is very hostile to third-party monitors, and anytime you have like a resolution or a refresh rate problem with a Mac, I mean, you can usually get around it, but it's just a kind of a nightmare to deal with. I absolutely hate it. Yeah, I mean, they do a really good job with their walled garden, and they do make a lot of money. I mean, they are what, $4 trillion now? Well, let's knock out the rest of the push-ups. We got 25 more push-ups. And then we got, oh shit, they're using Microsoft time to calculate what's remaining on this thing. It was like 2 hours left 30 minutes ago. All right, well, let's finish the push-ups. All right, somebody said elevated feet, right? Did I hear that correctly in chat? I think I did. 25 elevated. All right. Let's see. Oh, here. We'll go big screen. We'll go big screen for this guy. Where are you at? Yeah, big screen. Was that elevated enough? There we go. You know, let's hurt myself here. All in the neighbor of entertainment. Let's see. This might work. I don't think I'm gonna break anything. There's some wires up here, but I think this would be kind of cool. All right. There we go. Now, this one, we're gonna go really elevated. It's gonna be fun. Oh, it's so rocky. 1 second. Should be fine. No. We're gonna go completely inverted. Although, that's a little rocky. We're gonna have to take the box out. How low does this get? The ground's right here. You should still be able to see it. I don't think I'm gonna hit the light. This is the light right here. Going completely inverted. Woo. Do some handstand push-ups. All right. I'm done messing around. I can still do a handstand and I'm 40. Now I just got to be able to walk on my hands. Is what's next. One of these days. The space isn't suitable, Chris. Probably doing it with all that stuff around. Probably not the brightest idea, but entertainment. I'll see if I can get like a more of a wide shot. You can't really see my feet or my hands. I can still do a handstand. I'm 54. Hell yeah. I love it, Dojo. There's a guy I saw. He's probably 300 pounds. But, I mean, he's got like a sleeper build. Great lifter. And he can do a handstand walk at 300 pounds. Insane. I was like blown away when I saw it. Oh. Well, watching paint dry is what we're doing. Get ready to join WikiFeet. Hey, I got my socks on. All right, so we knocked out all the push-ups today. We started this. We're going to resize Arch and then see if it boots. But we're going to have to wait till tomorrow. So I'm going to finish this offline. What we're going to do offline is I'm going to finish the whole resize. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm going to just shut down the system after everything's resized. Tomorrow's stream, when we start up, it's going to be what happened after the resize. The resize says it's going to take about 2.5 to 3 more hours. Probably closer with the resizing of the other 2 partitions as well. Probably closer to 3 or 4. Once those are finished, I'm going to shut this down. And when we start up the stream tomorrow, we're going to be able to pick it up right where we're at. So watching this is just kind of boring. The man with 2 brains. I think of another scene from that movie, Galaga. It's not gonna take long. So stream will start with a broken PC. Exactly. Maximum engagement right out of the gate. Don't let the power go out. Actually, you say that. It's kind of storming outside. That would be unfortunate. We're just trying, Dojo, we're just trying to get a bigger EFI partition. Right now, the EFI partition is only 600 megs, and we're putting in that partition the Linux kernels, which Linux kernels are fine by themselves because they're only like about 100 megs, 150 megs. But when you add kernel modules like the NVIDIA DKMS modules, it completely just ate up all the space. And then we, whenever we're doing the MKinit CPIO, it would completely just error out and just say, hey, I'm out of space. I got no more space to add these modules. So we're not able to get a bootable system because of that. So it's like, all right, we're going to grow it from 600 megs to 2 gigs. And we're moving and shifting everything over. I kind of wanted to do this anyways because the root partition, if we look right here, the root partition is only 100 gigs. And I actually ran out of space a couple days ago. I didn't stream it, and I cleaned up all of Arch. I will make an actual YouTube video about cleaning up Arch after using it for 365 days, which we're 3 days away. As long as I didn't break it right here. We're 3 days away from 365. Once that happens, I'm going to show like actually fixing up and cleaning up a Linux partition that's seen a lot of abuse from me and getting it back to kind of a fresh state without reinstalling. Like with Windows, you just reinstall to go to a fresh state. There is no getting back to day 0. Where in Linux, getting back to day 0 is actually pretty easy. It's tracking down the extra bloat, extra packages, how you do that, how you go about doing it. And I'm going to show a bunch of different methods of my approach to it. And yeah, kind of showcase all the different things that can bloat up your system, from app images to manual installs into like the OPT directory to different system packages that might get installed into different spots. Like Olama sometimes likes to drop stuff into the root partition. You can also have things for like QEMU drop stuff into, like the var partition. You can have log files that kind of get out of control. You got to clean up. You have Pac-Man cache that you probably clean up because that can kind of blow it up over times with a whole bunch of make dependencies. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that I can do and talk about in that video, kind of how to kind of clean up a Linux partition, because it's not like Windows. Windows, you always have to reinstall every year or two. Linux, I would say you have to kind of clean it up every year or two. And that it just is 2 different ways of doing it. So, very cool. Oh my God, nerd talk. I'm interested. Well, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow because we're shutting it down for tonight. I will let you guys know where we end up on our root partitions. And yeah, should be fun. Should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. This is something I've been meaning to do for a while. And I think it was just kind of a gentle nudge. Will this fix Oblivion Remastered launch? Probably not. Still fun to do. And then after it doesn't, we'll probably switch out the GPU, call it a day, and go from there. So, all right, guys. Till tomorrow. I'm going to try and stream sometime probably around 11 or noon. Probably noon-ish. tomorrow. So let's shoot for noon tomorrow Central Time. I'm here in old Texas, so we'll shoot for that. And till then, enjoy seeing my broken system, and we'll see if we can't fix it, which we always can. Anything can be fixed. Well, mostly. Oh,